Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean,
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
that's a pill with two screens and it's open and you got to swallow it.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
I am ashamed to live in this world.
I am Manila. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hi.
And we are here to talk all things tech this week. You guys ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We actually have some news. I mean, Microsoft, believe it or not, they kind of silently released some hardware. I mean, we'll get into that. We'll get into that, but I thought it was interesting. It's funny because I found out about it when I was going through sources today. That's how silent it was. I was just like, oh.
Good job, Microsoft.
Okay. Interesting. That happened, but it was interesting. Well, you know what? Why don't I just talk about it? We'll just get into it. Why not?
Take it away.
Hey, so Caleb, he loves the Surface, the tablets, right? You've got 6 or 7 of them.
I'm a huge fan of Surfaces,
especially the ones that have Pentium processors
Surface
in them.
Oh no,
right?
You're talking about that thing. Isn't that the Surface 10?
The Surface? No. So
no. Oh.
Microsoft, they came out with a new LTE tablet. So basically, it's the new Surface Go 3, the Surface Go one, but there's a new model that came out with the LTE services, and it still has the it's not the best, but Pentium. Oh, it has the Pentium 6500Y processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabyte of eMMC storage, as you know, but it is the LTE one that you can use on your cell service if you wanted to add it, and it's available for $499.
You know what's so telling about this? Not just the processor in this device, but we've given the Surface Go a lot of crap over the years, rightfully so, in my opinion. But
oh yeah,
the most telling part about this is everyone's updating their tablets and devices like this to get 5G support. They're just giving this one LTE finally. And this is what, the third or fourth iteration of the device?
Wait. Hold on. Just I'm double checking. Which Pentium processor was it?
6500Y.
Oh my Lanta. This thing's still on a 14 nanometer processor node. This isn't one of their 12th gen chips.
No.
This is, oh my gosh. It's limited to DDR3 RAM. This thing is still using DDR3 RAM.
Well, hey, if you want a little more oomph, you can spend $729 and get an i3 in it.
Is it at least a 12th gen i3?
I don't have that info in front of me, but since you've got that in front of you, you might be able to tell us.
Well, I'm just looking on Intel's ARC website,
gotcha.
Look at processor specs. I don't know. Oh my gosh, this is.
It's not, it just says Core i3 is if you want to find it on here.
Well,
what I've got.
I'm gonna do some Googling.
You should Google that. That would be good. So basically, when they first came out with the Surface Go 3, you were looking at it at $399. To add the LTE is $100 more, basically. So if you want to add it to have internet service and stuff like that everywhere, that's how much it is. Like I said, if you want to have the higher end, if you want a little more oomph for your buck, you can get up to $729, which is the higher end model, which puts an i3 in there, 8 gigs of RAM, and then 128 gigabyte SSD storage. If you really want to, it does say here that there's a limited time of getting $50 off right now on the high end model. Yeah.
It's a 10th gen i3, so yeah, it's not new.
So
paying $730 one for an i3, which is nope, and then it's a 10th gen i3.
Yeah,
Listener, I would just like to let you know that the iPad is available about that price with an M1 processor in it,
Yep.
which will handily outperform both of these in a hilarious way. Like, geez
Well,
Louise.
also, it ships with Windows 11 in S mode. So that's nice,
good.
right? Oh, good.
That stands for stupid mode.
Stupid mode.
Never actually used
So-
S mode, but I can't imagine it's an improvement. So,
Which is interesting why they would have an S mode if they're going to so does S mode mean they can't have Amazon apps? Is that what S mode is? That's what I'm assuming. in Windows
I
11.
wonder.
Like when I saw that, and I unfortunately didn't have the time to look up exact details. I was like, what does that mean? Like you just can't have the Amazon apps?
Because, well, I mean, it's supposedly like you have to download everything through the Microsoft Store, right? Like that's the idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Amazon, like the Android app thing is through the Amazon Store, which it's not the Microsoft Store.
Well,
so
you can get the apps, I think, through the Microsoft Store.
No, you can get the Amazon Store through the Microsoft Store.
Yes, through the
That's basically what it is.
So I'm
Like
I'm not 100% sure.
Oh,
I'll
interesting.
have to look that up. But if that's what you're going for, if that's what you need, this is an option. If you just don't want to be an Apple person at all and hate it, or a Chromebook or anything, I mean, here you go.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I watched a YouTube video like yesterday in which Austin Evans, so you can go check out his channel for, I think it was like his latest video, to see which laptop I'm talking about. He went to Target and he bought a $700 laptop with a dedicated GPU in it. It wasn't a great one. It was like a 1650 or something like that, but it had a dedicated GPU and an i5 or something powering it. It was $700. If you just don't want to buy an iPad, but you need some kind of computing device for $700, get that. Like, I cannot fathom a use case where you just need the tablet so much that for some reason the iPad isn't the solution for you in this price range, that you go for like this instead, like you just need Windows, I guess. It's so bad, but fair enough. There's a lot of use cases that require Windows. Go grab a Windows laptop for $700. Like there's a lot of good options in that price range.
I guess thinking about it, maybe we'd have to see for sure with it running Windows 11. Like I had, does it run pretty decently on this processor? Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, so the Surface Go 3 was released with Windows 10 on it originally.
True.
So
now this new model's got 11. So I don't know.
Yeah, but they haven't updated the processors though, right? Like they just added LTE to it.
Yeah,
essentially.
What it's saying. That's what it added.
This is the Surface Go 3 of yesteryear that has a few things added onto it, and I'm just like, I don't think there's a use case that makes sense that this is the solution for it. I feel like,
sure.
especially like if it's really like, oh yeah, you need LTE to connect to it, go get a Samsung tablet or an Apple tablet or something like that. I'm very confused about Microsoft continuing to not only sell this device but update it. Like they've released an update for the Surface Go 3. Not a Surface Go 4. They didn't replace it. They just added data connectivity to it. And I'm very confused about that move. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm wondering if this is more for partners, like say like AT&T and all these companies like that, to sell them. Just like, oh, you can get a free tablet if you sign up. Here's your free,
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
maybe.
sure there's some deals, things like that. But from what I've heard, the people that do have Surface and use it, like, so I do have a Surface Pro 3. I still kind of use it here and there, but I wouldn't use me as a heavy user with it. But I'm wondering if this is just one of those things that you got the people that are just dedicated to it,
Yeah. I mean, the Surface Pro line, it makes more sense to me. It's the Surface, like in the Surface laptop line, like I get that. Those make sense. Like I understand the use cases for some of those devices, but it's the Surface Go specifically. I just don't understand this tablet. It didn't make sense to me when it was new, and we made fun of it as a result. Just kind of not understanding.
Sorry, anything with
why.
Pentium.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, it's now, why are they updating it? Like, but they're not actually updating it, you know? Like, why are they refreshing the Surface Go 3 and not delivering something new? Because that's the thing. If they were to come and be like, hey, here's the Surface Go 3 or the Surface Go 4, it's got 12th gen Intel processors in it, I'd be like, okay, that actually makes sense. Because Intel's low-end 12th gen processors, even the Pentiums, have technically 5 cores to them now. I think they have 1 performance core and then 4 of the efficiency cores. Those efficiency cores have the same basic power out, like ability to compute, as one of these Pentium Gold processors does. So like, you have that's the efficiency cores, and then you also have a power core on top of that to just make it way faster. So like, you know, if they'd done something like that, and then like, yeah, here's a $500 Windows 11 laptop that has, you know, a 12th gen processor in it, okay, I get that. Suddenly it's like, hey, finally Intel made a processor that you can put into this platform that actually makes sense. I'm happy for you, Microsoft. But that's not what this is, and so I am confused.
Well, I try to look at it like if it's a workspace thing, if it's like you got to have service to take something. But then again, I'm like, you have a phone, take pictures. I don't know. I wonder if this is more of the niche thing that we're not seeing.
I hope so. Otherwise, Microsoft is just not selling any of these, because like,
you know, I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look up and see what sells, if they would give that data of like,
I wonder,
spread it out, not just all surfaces are at this point. I wonder. Right. I'd have to look. I'll look more into that.
Because like even the like field work, you know, people that need a tablet out in the field that has cellular connectivity and stuff like that, you know, a lot of times, like on airplanes or whatnot, for the crew, they'll issue them an Android tablet or an iPad. And then people that are like service technicians that are out in the field that need these things, they're using the ToughPad from like Asus and that sort of thing, because they're bulletproof. They run Windows. They're modular. You know, like, they make more sense in that context. And I'm not thinking of any, I can't think of any use case that wouldn't be better served by either a ToughPad or an iPad. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Listener, maybe you have some insight into this, you know, like, you find me on Twitter, send us an email, something. Let me know if you've got a use case for the Surface Go 3 that makes sense in 2022.
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, even, you know, I had the thought of maybe it's a kid's thing, but then again, like, just get a kid tablet, you know, like
just get a
Samsung
Amazon
kid
Fire
or something. So I don't know. It might be a very specific niche thing that we're not seeing on there, but yeah, anytime we see Pentium, we do apologize. It's just,
yeah.
So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to something else Caleb likes. Microsoft Teams.
Oh gosh, is this about how they're on they're on YouTube? Like, they were advertising their YouTube channel? Is that? I've been seeing ads for Microsoft Teams, like, hey,
well, they're
on YouTube and TikTok and all this stuff. It's like, good news. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you going to do on YouTube that makes good content? I'm so confused.
Well, I guess that's not what I was talking about. But on the side note, I think it's more of just to show people, hey, you can do this. So I was just going to update on for the person or people that actually use Microsoft Teams. They're calling it the hybrid work update. And so basically, I'll just kind of run down some of these. So I don't use Teams very much, and I definitely know Caleb won't use it unless he has to, and Landon, obviously.
I don't have to anymore. Change jobs. They don't use Teams at my new job.
There you go. So I'll just kind of go over what's coming in on this update. So it says the first thing that they're talking about is in-person and virtual RSVP in Outlook. So Outlook will soon allow meeting attendees to RSVP in person or virtual attendance. So there's that option.
Okay, that would actually be kind of useful.
Yeah. Teams Rooms companion device experience will be improved. They say when you join a meeting in Teams Rooms with a personal device, your audio is automatically turned off. But with an upcoming update, you'll be prompted to turn your laptop video on so you can be seen by remote participants while that video will be hidden on screen. A couple little features like that for the remote stuff. They call this front row for Teams. This new meeting layout is designed for hybrid meeting. It puts the video gallery on the bottom of the screen for more natural face-to-face interactions with remote colleagues, while the current speaker or their content is being displayed on the top, alongside additional meeting information like chat, raise hands, and live interactions. They did talk about the Microsoft Surface Hub 2 smart camera. They did talk about there's a new one. They said the smart camera for the Surface Hub 2S aims to improve the meeting experience for all. Basically framing technology and AI-powered features. They did say the PowerPoint improvements. This was something that actually was announced quite a while ago. I think it was September 2021. I mentioned it. It was a cameo for PowerPoint in Teams is now available as is the recently announced PowerPoint recording studio that's in there. So nice. It's just kind of adding more things to that. So cool. Like I said, I don't experience this a lot, and for my work, mine's more manual labor, so I don't do a lot of this stuff. So figured if you are in this realm, which Caleb has experience, so good, yay, improvements, yay, nay. What do you think?
I will say the one thing with the being able to RSVP in person or digitally, that would be great. Can I do it just through Outlook? Like,
I think that's what it was saying.
Right. Well, it was saying like through Outlook for Teams, like Teams meetings, invites and stuff. I'm wondering if they're just bringing it to Outlook generally speaking, because we use Zoom and Cisco products. So but we also use Outlook for the email. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, can I RSVP digitally for a Zoom meeting that's also in person through Outlook? Because if so, that's kind of nifty. Like, I could see that being useful in a workplace. The rest of them, like, they're features that, improvements to the work experience, I guess, but I would have to see them in use to know whether or not they feel like improvements. Some of them kind of sounded like, hey, we're making changes because we can.
Adding little things here and there, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe some other platform's doing it, and they're like, we can too.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't seem like there's a clear improvement to several of them.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. There might be. They might have tested it and been like, oh yeah, this way is obviously better. I was not there for that. So
yeah. And dear listener, and if this is exciting for you, awesome. If not, well, just information for you, I guess. So, well, I do have some other news that's not Microsoft, but I kind of wanted to present this more as a talking thing to see what you guys think. I'm not sure if you guys have seen something that's happening. Now, I'm going to talk about Netflix. They are going to test for paid alternative to password sharing. So, which means in your account, when you share your password, you can actually, so obviously with this, what they're saying is they're trying to crack down on people sharing their passwords and basically getting free Netflix or whatever their service is. And so they've come out to say this, but when they're doing this test, it's actually for Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru is where they're testing this right now. But Costa Rica, it says that it actually goes off the United States dollar. And so it basically says if you want the low prices for these network sub accounts is $2.99, and that's in Costa Rica. So this is what we'll go off of. So to add $3 more to your account, you can give out your Netflix, give them a password to your account, I guess, is what they're saying. They're going to experiment with this and see, but let's go ahead and talk. I want to talk more about, like, what do you guys think about this, if this is a norm or things? Because let's be real, we've all shared a password.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's Netflix, whether it's Disney Plus, whether it's whatever.
the only streaming platform I'm currently paying for is Apple TV Plus. All of the rest of them, I'm just, I've got passwords from various
Right.
places that we're sharing.
And you don't even use Apple TV Plus.
That's
Yeah.
true. It's just included with my Apple Arcade subscription, let's be
Right.
honest.
So I guess I just kind of wanted to be like, what do you guys think? Like, I mean, obviously this is something these services want to crack. They want their money. They want more money. They want,
Yep.
that's the bottom line. But
I think that as a consumer, I hate this. As a person who understands how capitalism works, I'm not surprised. But the thing that kicks me is that it comes all at the same time as like a price hike. And then like, hey, no, you can't share your password outside of your house. Oh, except maybe we'll let you, but you have to pay us for the privilege. In addition to just paying more for the service, generally speaking. And so I'm like, you're going to ask for more money on my monthly subscription, and then you're going to ask me to ask my friends to start paying for this thing that I have been sharing with them. And in most cases, it's not like you're just out of the generosity of your heart giving your subscription password to people. It's that like, you've got some friends or family members usually who don't necessarily watch that streaming platform a whole bunch, but they have a couple of things they'd like to watch, and they're paying for a different streaming platform that you also kind of want to watch a few things on, and you're exchanging. Like, it's an exchange. Everybody's trading. So like,
Yep.
so that everybody's getting use out of this stuff. And like, it's just baffling to me. And it's not like this is going to allow you to like, oh, well, I can pay for the lower tier, like the lower level of Netflix, and then the other people I'm sharing my password with will pay for theirs, and that'll get them the ability to stream through my account. No. They pay extra just so that they can have a separate little account inside of your Netflix. Like, you still have to pay the 20 whatever bucks a month it is to get the 4 different streams simultaneously, to make sure that you don't have people doubling up on top of each other when they're trying to watch. It's just Netflix. Like, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to bring death to the cable companies, not join them.
That's awesome.
What I could see happening, I don't necessarily, I can't say that I think this is going to happen, but what very likely could happen is that if they do this, they're going to end up losing a lot of viewership. They're not necessarily going to lose any money because, again, like Caleb said, they've already increased the price anyways, just for the regular Netflix. But if they do this, that's going to cut their viewership at least in half, probably, because, I mean, let's be honest, most people that are paying for it are sharing it with at least one other person in most cases.
Yep.
So that cuts their viewership down in half. And that's going to hurt them as well. I mean, yes, maybe not as much on the financial side, but if they're not getting the viewers, then people aren't going to want to put their shows on Netflix. People aren't going to want to make movies for Netflix because they're not getting people watching these shows, and that's going to hurt them. So, I mean, I could see that happening, but I could also see Netflix being like, well, we're still making the money we want, so who cares?
Yeah. Well, and the thing that baffles me is that Netflix is making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
And they're turning around and dumping it all back into original content that's getting thrown onto the platform and makes people keep paying money, and they keep making money hand over fist. And it's a sustainable business model. Why the heck are they price hiking and like trying to kill the one thing that makes Netflix really appealing is kind of the ability to just share it among your household, like your extended household, I guess, your friends and family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, it's Netflix. I know you're listening. I want to talk to you directly. Have you seen the comic of the guy sitting in front of his computer and he's all like, wow, you know what? This streaming thing is actually pretty cool. And he's looking at the Netflix logo on his screen, and he turns around and takes his pirate hat off and puts it into a drawer and says, so long, old friend. And then time passes, and he's looking at his computer screen, and there's like 7 or 8 different streaming services that are all there in Netflix. Your logo's in there, but it's at the center of a whole host of other things that we're supposed to pay for in order to watch all the TV shows that we want to watch and all the movies we want to watch. And he turns back to the drawer and opens it up and pulls out the pirate hat and says, "Hello again, old friend." And Netflix, you understand you are encouraging internet piracy with these actions. You're not going to make more money. Like Landon said, you will probably make the same amount of money, but your shows will get pirated way the heck more often. That's what will happen. And I'm not going to tell people not to do that, quite frankly, at this point. I feel like you've made this bed, Netflix, you get to lay in it. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with both of you. I didn't think of the viewership thing like you did, Landon. And that makes total sense. I mean, yeah, you probably cut your viewers in half because you at least shared it with one other person. So, and yeah, that sucks.
And I think the vast majority of those people are going to look at the price of gas right now and their Netflix subscription and go, of these things, one of them is not necessary. And it's the Netflix subscription. Yeah. And so, if they're getting it for free, sure, they're going to keep watching. But if you're all like, suddenly, no, you have to pay $3 a month in order to keep sharing your friend's Netflix password, they're just going to be like, no, I don't need Netflix. It's not that important to me.
I don't know. Also, if said friend that gave you that and you're like, hey, I paid my $3, why is my Netflix down? Oh, I stopped it. Oh, okay. There's all more troubles, I guess. Anyway, but no, I thought it was interesting, and it's just kind of the world we're in, and I hate this content war in streaming right now, because it's like, oh, I really enjoy this, like, but like everyone's, oh, you need to subscribe to Paramount Plus for this new Halo thing, which, by the way, just throwing this out there, if you're a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you get 30 days of Paramount Plus, so you can watch the Halo thing if you want to for free. If you're
there you
just
go.
throwing that out there. But which is cool, or some other, but then it's like, oh, but you have to have Disney Plus for this, or Hulu's coming out with all this, and it's just like, oh yeah, and it's this cable company thing all over again.
Yep.
So, but I guess that's what we're in, and yeah, but I thought it was an interesting thing, and I wanted to see what you guys had said about it and what you think, and I don't know, I worry about that, because then it's like, do they now, like, okay, obviously they know what IP they're going to and sending this information to, but now they can restrict and be like, no, this counts on this IP, not over here, or whatever, and I don't know.
And what'll probably end up happening is a lot of legitimate Netflix customers will end up periodically not being able to watch Netflix because their IP will get flagged for one reason or another. And cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Which will make it so they're like, oh well, I'm just not going to pay for it anymore. If I can't watch it on vacation, then what's the point?
It's like, believe it or not, Netflix, if you make enough anti-consumer decisions, your consumers are going to stop consuming. That's just
true.
That's how that works.
So, yeah, just wanted to bring that up. It's not being tested over here in the States or anything, but like I said, it's in those 3 countries. They're going to test it out.
Definitely
they have been
worth
talking
being
about
aware
this.
of.
Yeah, just something I want to be aware of, that there's stuff like this coming, and if you're heavy into these streaming services, if one is successful, they're all going to follow this suit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, that was just a random one I kind of wanted to bring up and see what you guys thought. So that's kind of all the Microsoft news I have. I do have some gaming news, which we'll get to later in the show. So let's go ahead and let's talk to Landon here. Landon, you have some news for us you want to talk to us about?
I do. Now, the only really important news that I have is Google has announced when Google I/O this year will be. Now, they did their customary little game that they tend to put out that people have to solve this little game or riddle or whatever to be able to figure it out. And apparently this one was the hardest one yet, according to some people. I didn't do it. I never do, because generally by the time I even find out what the game is, it's already been solved and everyone's writing about it. So that's how it works.
That's how it works.
Yep. Now, they did say Google I/O this year will be May 11th and 12th, and it will be at the Shoreline Amphitheater because it will be limited in-person audience that they will have in attendance at this thing. So there will be people there at the Shoreline Amphitheater, but again, it will be limited, but it is going to be available for free for anybody to stream. So that's nice. They're going to continue on with that to let anybody that can't make it out, or for money purposes or for this limited in-person aspect, they will be able to watch all of the sessions online for free during those couple days and probably afterwards.
That's good.
But I'm excited. I don't think, or they haven't put out like a schedule for anything yet, so we don't have times. I would assume that the May 11th keynote will be 10 a.m. Pacific time, because that's generally what time it usually is. So just keep that in mind. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll be able to get a lot more information about Android 13 and anything else that Google has in mind coming up in the future. All right. Speaking of Android 13, Android 13 Developer Preview 2 is now available. And there's some new features that people are talking about, but one that I thought was really interesting and that I really hope comes to the stable version of Android 13 when it launches this fall is that it will notify the user of an app that is draining battery in the background. And I love that because there has been times on different phones, it's been on my iPhone, it's not as much, but it does happen. On my Android phones, it happens. But I'll go in my phone, I'll just notice all of a sudden it's like down 20% in the last hour or two. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I have to go into my battery settings and then see what is taking the battery that way. And sometimes it shows it, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, that's not really a hard thing to do. And at least we have that ability now. We didn't used to have that ability back in the day.
Yeah.
But now inside of Android, it will notify you when an app is doing this. And so you can go and either turn off background usage or just delete the app or whatever, from right there, which is really nice. So I really hope that this comes to the stable version of Android because that's nice.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
All right. The next little bit of news. Google apparently quietly has acquired a startup company known as Raxium. Now, listener, you probably haven't heard of them. I had never heard of them. What they do is they make micro LEDs for use in augmented reality. Now, I find this interesting because right now, the only use case that we have, at least consumer-wise, for micro LEDs, I guess I shouldn't really say consumer-wise, but for what we use micro LEDs for right now is Samsung is using them for their wall TV quote. It's not really a TV, but their giant freaking screens that they make are using micro LEDs, and that's the main use case I've seen them used in. There might be more people using it, but I don't know of them. But this company has figured out how to use micro LEDs for AR stuff, and Google either has acquired them or is set to acquire them. There's no official announcement yet, obviously, so there's no price that's been announced for this yet. But from what I understand is early in the negotiations that actually did get talked about, that this Raxium company would be worth around $1 billion. So this isn't just a small acquisition either. That's quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, Google has been working in this space for a long time. They introduced Google Glass, long time ago. And
yeah,
it failed fairly quickly and miserably. But it's, the fact that they're purchasing a company that it's in this space, it shows that they're still working on something and want to do more in this space. And I'm perfectly fine with that because we need more people in this space than just Facebook. because that's
Please.
scary.
Please.
I mean, we obviously know that Apple is working on something. We've always assumed that Google is working on something, and we know Microsoft is working on stuff, but we need more stuff that's available and in the consumer realm, because Google's stuff is, I think you can still purchase glass, and it's more of a business type thing. And same with Microsoft with their stuff. It's all on the business side of stuff. Yes, you can go purchase one, but there's not a whole lot of consumer stuff to do with it at the moment. And Apple, they haven't actually announced anything, and nor will they until it's ready to go. But we need more of this. So I'm okay and actually glad to see that Google is still working on something. And I'm interested to see where this goes and how this works out for them, because now that if they own the company that's making parts for this, that means they're actually working on a device of some sort, not just the technology behind it, which is also good. Okay, that is all of my Google news. I do have some general tech news update-ish to talk about. This goes back to last week's episode, listener. So last week, I mentioned how in Star Trek Picard that someone spotted what appeared to be a Galaxy Z Fold device of some sort. From what I understand in this new article that I read, is that it was being used as, on Star Trek, what is known as a pad. A personal access display device is what it's called. So that's fun. That's going to make Caleb happy. This is going to make him even more happy that in the next episode, there was a Galaxy Z Flip 3 used, and this was used as a tricorder device, like the person holding it and doing things with it. Oh my gosh, listener, if you could see Caleb right now, it's fantastic.
Paramount, I hate you so much.
This all but ensures that Caleb is not going to watch this show, because not only are they using modern day technology, but that's it's not just in there as a reference thing, it's in there as the technology of the day, which is not the case at all.
Nope. Can't really inspire the engineers of the future if you're using the crap that engineers are making today. Now, can you?
No.
No, these people. They are the makers of these new shows are so utterly disconnected from everything I ever liked about that fandom that it's frankly just unreal to me that they think they're making anything Star Trek related. They're just not. It's just not. It's a space opera drama that's totally unrelated to Star Trek. Accept it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Are you okay? Are you good?
I'm never okay when it comes to these idiots. But on the plus side, I can always pirate Star Trek and not give any money to Paramount. That is now my life's goal for the rest of my life. Can you continue to enjoy the good Star Trek that was made without paying Paramount a penny?
Yeah.
So
that is true.
Hashtag life goals.
Hashtag.
Yeah. So I had to bring that up because I knew Caleb would have an aneurysm over this. And it's true. He did. So that's all of my tech news for this week.
That's good stuff. Caleb, you gonna be okay, bud? You gonna?
I'll get over it. Someday somebody's gonna make a good sci-fi show again, and I'll be happy.
I'll tell you what. That's what you need to do.
There you go.
And then make your own streaming service so you can only get it on your streaming service, and then people can pirate it. And
you know what? I have a webcomic that I write because it's the type of entertainment that I enjoy, and it is the sci-fi that I like. So I'll just keep writing that. And
hey, why don't you go ahead and plug that while we're talking about it? Just let the listener know.
It's called The Starfarer's Guide to Freelancing, listener. You can find it at starfarersguide.com, which actually the website's getting redesigned right now. So check it out now and then check it out again in like 3 weeks when it's completely different.
There you go. Well, go ahead and give us some news and things you want to talk about this week.
All right. Speaking of companies who all of their products were inspired by crap that was on Star Trek in the late 80s, thank you very much. The makers of the iPad and the iPhone, it's literally called the iPad. And do you know why it's called the iPad? It's because of Star Trek The Next Generation and the pad that was in there. Anyways, so Mac Studio. Was a thing that Apple announced, and we talked about it last week on the podcast. Some, people have their hands on it now, and we're getting first impressions and early reviews of the Mac Studio and the Studio Display. So, here they are in a nutshell. Generally speaking, the Mac Studio is a beast. It handily beats most tiers of the Mac Pro at a quarter of the cost. That is not to say that it is absolutely the best computer or most powerful computer that you can buy right now, because, as I had said last week, I raised some skepticism around the claim that Apple made during their keynote about the thing outperforming the highest-end consumer graphics card, and they said in the notes that they were comparing it to an RTX 3090, and they're like, oh yeah, look how much better the M1 Ultra is. I'm like, what? That can't be right. Turns out, it's not. No, not right. What they were saying is that they have the same amount of performance at like the M1 Ultra's max performance is 200 watts less power drawn when the 3090 is at that same performance, right? So the M1 Ultra draws 200 watts and hits the same amount of performance the 3090 gets at 400 watts, which is impressive, right? It is by far the most efficient graphics processor on the planet, like by a country mile. It's insane.
Yeah, that is insane.
The 3090 can draw like 600 watts of power. So, yeah, no, the 3090 handily outperforms the M1 Ultra in every real world situation. So
it's funny. I watched the MKBHD's video on this, and what he did is like, he put up Apple's graph, and he's like, what they should have done is drawn this line, and then he continued with the RTX graphics card line, and it went up another,
yeah,
basically
like another 30 or 40%.
But it went up quite a bit higher than what Apple's did, because yes, it is using way more power, but it also can do more stuff with that power. So I mean,
yes,
right.
It was. I think that the thing Apple should have leaned on, the narrative they should have leaned on, is the fact that on that graph, their like max performance for the M1 Ultra was using about the same amount of power as the minimum performance for the 3090 on their graph. Like, that's the narrative they should be telling, is like, we are already doing all of this work by the time our competitors even like turn on. Right? Like, before the 3090 does anything, it's already drawing more power than we are. Like, that's kind of that's the narrative they should have gone with. That is a mostly true narrative and an interesting and very impressive one. But that's not what they did. And so, yeah, okay. The M1 Ultra is still a beast. It's very good at a lot of things. And generally speaking, it scales pretty linearly. It's about twice as fast as the M1 Max, which means that when we finally see whatever's going to be in the Mac Pro they released this year, that's essentially going to be two M1 Ultras slapped together, we should expect that to be about twice as fast as the M1 Ultra. At which point, the graphics card or the graphics processing might be in the vicinity of the max performance of the 3090, but will be drawing at least 400 watts of power at the same time. Yeah. So still 200 watts less than 3090, but not nearly as impressive in terms of the actual like power draw, but still pretty cool. It'll be fun to see where that goes. So that's the Mac Studio. Like, people are pretty happy with it. I think most people are happy because we know that a Mac Pro is coming. Apple has said, here's the Mac Studio. It's not the Mac Pro, right? Like, it doesn't replace the Mac Pro. It's not modular. It's not upgradable. We know that there's a market for the modular upgradable Mac, and we're going to be releasing a new one of those sometime later this year. So that's nice. People seem to be generally happy with it. Now, first impressions of the Studio Display.
Are you
that
okay?
are generally speaking, again, in a nutshell, that for the built-in speakers and mic on a display, these things are incredible, but still obviously not going to be as good as a standalone microphone or standalone speakers. That the screen is fine, but not really impressive, and in some ways kind of underwhelming. It's still only running at 60 hertz. It doesn't have, some of the pixel response features that newer displays have. Doesn't have the micro LED or the mini LED backlight or anything like that. So it's like it's a good 5K display, but it's nothing impressive. And also the camera is apparently bizarrely awful, like just straight up trash. Which is weird because they also managed to confirm, several of the reviewers, that this thing is actually running a full version of iOS. The monitor is on the A13 Bionic that is in it. It's just a big standalone iPad, I guess. And, phones that are running the A13 Bionic have really good selfie cameras, which is what this should have. It should be the same hardware, and it should have the same image signal processor and everything in it, and it's running a version of the same software. So why is the camera so crap? Apple did say, oh yeah, that's a bug. We're going to fix it in a software update. And I just want to say, I hate the concept of living in a world where I have to update the software on my monitor, Apple. This is not okay. This narrative you have spun is the end times. That is the apocalypse right there. This is post-apocalypse tech dystopia that I'm not for it. I'm not here for it. Nope. So Apple Studio Display for me personally, dead on arrival right there. But yeah, those are the impressions of those. Again, first impressions, we're going to be getting more in-depth information from a lot of different sources, probably over the next week. So if anything else interesting pops up from that, I'll be sure to let you know. All right. Now, last piece of Apple news that I have is a rumor. Okay, so this is from reasonably reliable leaker, Ross Young. He said this past week that he is still expecting a 27-inch mini LED backlit something in June, which is interesting because after the Mac Studio released alongside the Studio Display last week, we talked about this, listener, that this kind of feels like it's replacing the 27-inch iMac, and we weren't, like a lot of leakers, weren't expecting a 27-inch iMac anymore, right? That was the Studio Display, and okay, 27-inch iMac is gone. We have the Mac Studio now instead. But Ross Young seems to think that there is still something in Apple's pipeline with a 27-inch display and a mini LED backlight, which obviously that's not the Studio Display, then he's expecting it sometime in June. And what I don't get about that is that why would Apple release an objectively inferior monitor like 3 months before releasing a better one, even if it's attached to a computer like an iMac later in June? Why not just put the same panel in both of them? I'm so confused by this news.
Maybe
Listener,
it's an
I don't know what
updated
to make of that.
XDR or Pro Display XDR, whatever that thing's called.
Maybe. And they're bringing it from 32 inches down to 27. That could be.
I mean, I could see them doing both, like having options for both sizes, because I mean, a lot of people like that 32-inch size, but
that's true.
There's going to be people that don't need that big of a display, and so they want a 27, and it's going to cost $1,000 less, maybe. I don't know.
So, and you might be in the ballpark on that, because nuance here, Ming-Chi Kuo is, as far as I am aware, and as far as I'm concerned personally, I've been following Apple's like rumor mill for longer than we've been doing the podcast. I don't know, it's 8-9 years, something like that. It's been a while. Ming-Chi Kuo has been on the scene the entire time, and he is one of the most rock solid leakers of tech information from any company in the world. This dude is like clockwork. He said this past week, not necessarily directly in response to the Ross Young rumor, but sure feels like it, that he does not expect any new products featuring a mini LED backlight this year. That existing mini LED devices might be updated, but no new products will be launched. So that's a 27-inch iMac. Ming-Chi Kuo says, no, not happening. And would also kind of suggest that a smaller version of the Pro Display XDR also won't be happening. So I don't know. Like, we could very well see an update to the Pro Display XDR, and maybe that's what Ross Young is getting from his sources, and he's just not totally clear on what it's supposed to be. But yeah, that's so there you go. That's the state of the Mac rumor mill at this point. And what's really interesting about this to me is that there's no iPhone rumors. Nobody's talking about the iPhone. Everybody's talking about displays and Macs, and I'm just happy about that. It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times. Anyways, so yeah, that's my Apple news. That is all of my tech news as well.
Good. Well, not as good as the Picard stuff, but okay. It's all right. I had to poke the bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, hey, let's get into some gaming news. Kind of move on here. I'll go ahead and I'll start us off. I've got a few things to kind of mention, and I mean we can talk more on each one, but we'll go ahead and start. So we talked about the direct storage. Direct storage is that Microsoft's Xbox Series X and S based storage technology. They are putting it on the PC. They said it's available on the PC now, and it's available on Windows 10 and 11. They did come out and say that you'll have a better experience with it on Windows 11. So
of course
if you can, yeah, I mean, if you can upgrade. And obviously that it was built for that more. So obviously, yes. I tried to look up, like, how do you get it? Like, how do you turn it on? So it would be in your menu. If you have a certain hard drive that can do it, it will have the option. They also said there will be more said about it at GDC, they said. So when that happens, they'll talk more on there. So, and I'm assuming that's more for the, obviously, game developers and how to do it, how to use it, how to enable it for your stuff. And it's more for gaming on there. So cool. That's what that is on there. So let's go ahead and move on. We did mention that the Halo TV series, it's coming out this next week. So you can go ahead and check that out. See what you think. There have been a lot of reviews out. They did let certain reviewers watch like a couple episodes in, and everyone apparently has the same idea of, look, obviously this is a desert place. Obviously you were taking off of Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and the thing that made The Mandalorian successful is he kept his helmet on. That's what they all agreed. So,
oh man. Okay, no, let's be honest. The real thing that made The Mandalorian successful was Baby Yoda.
Okay.
And if Halo doesn't have an analog for Baby Yoda, then it's just not going to happen, yeah.
So they just need a Baby Yoda, and that's for Master Chief.
Yeah.
Get rid of Cortana, do that. No, I guess it's a lot of things people have been saying. They're like, it's cool that the guy that's doing the, Master Chief, and a lot of people, I guess everyone's got their opinions. There's a lot of opinions about, obviously, Master Chief and his voice, but they wanted to give the character more depth, and they didn't. And what it sounds like is they didn't feel like the person that's doing his voice in the video games would give him as much depth if they kept it there. But lots of opinions. You can take a look at it, see what you think, enjoy it. Cool. If not, whatever. But I did think that was funny that they compared it to people about the Mandalorian, because it is in the desert. And a lot of this first stuff you'll see, it's all sandy and stuff, and people are like, this is awfully familiar. And they're like, please keep your helmet on. Master Chief.
I was thinking about this because, the thing about Baby Yoda and whatnot, what they could do, and this would help Microsoft sell a device that they've wanted to sell for a long time.
Oh no.
And just never took off. Now, if Master Chief had a Cortana speaker with him, and he could just talk to it, hey Cortana, and then it would do the things that he wants it to do. So it would help the show potentially, because he's got his little friend here, and it's Cortana, so it fits in the universe, and it's also a Bluetooth like a Google, like an Apple HomePod or a Google Home, or that Microsoft could just start immediately selling, and people would buy that because it's in the show. If the show is any good, at least that's it's got to be.
Well,
if the show's any good, people will buy this.
Here's the issue. It's a little too late for that. This has actually been in production hell for a long time. Like before they announced this, like it's been. I mean, they had Steven Spielberg attached to it a long time ago. Then even further back, this has been going on for a while. If they would have launched Cortana with what you were saying, yeah, this would have flown off the shelf. So,
I kind of feel like at some point in the show, Master Chief needs to tell ask Cortana to do something like in the heat of battle or something, firefight and everything, and just be like, "Oh, Cortana, you need to like unlock this door" or something like that. And Cortana needs to like make him a reminder to buy onions at the grocery store or something like that. And that would be fun. But I also think me watch the show.
I also think they also need to have Cortana mimic all the stereotypes of everything. So when he's like, "Hey Cortana, I need you to show up," then she could be like, "I can't do that, Dave. Just kidding. Here you go." Or everything. She needs to mock every AI's stereotype or whatever. That would be funny.
I found this.
Also, did you know you can get bath towels at this price? So, all right, we'll move on. But that's happening, listener. Like I said earlier in the show, if you wanted your 30 days of Paramount Plus, you can definitely hop on to Xbox Game Pass. They're giving that to you. I'm sure you can find 30 days of trial or something to watch it when it comes out. So, all right, let's move on. Xcloud gaming gets improved performance on iPad and iPhone. Cool. I mean,
yeah.
If you're on that and you're using it, sweet. We like performance, better stuff. So, not a lot more to say about that. Just yay, better performance. There has been some issues. I know this has kind of been in game development. They said that their Perfect Dark reboot is getting hit really hard by high turnover because of issues they're having, whether it's work or a lot of things. So there's been a lot of turnover on that Perfect Dark remake. It's the Initiative and Crystal Dynamics have been working on it, and so both studios have been kind of having issues. So I just wanted to mention that. If you were looking forward to Perfect Dark, I do apologize. They kind of pushed that back on the timeline because of these issues. So I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's see. Here we go. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is also with Xcloud. Xcloud Gaming adds Steam Deck support via Microsoft Edge. So if you download Microsoft Edge and you don't have to have Windows, but just download Microsoft Edge for the Steam OS, it'll now recognize the Steam Deck and use it for that. So there you go. You got your cloud gaming on your Steam OS if you're wanting to use that for there. So, which I think is good, because then I kind of feel that that's a really good Xbox Game Pass thing. That's Steam Deck. So,
well, honestly, that suddenly gives all of the Steam Deck owners access to all of the Xbox games and stuff like that. Like, they will play those. Good job, Microsoft. Like,
yeah,
on whatever's on the cloud gaming service. So sweet, good news on there. So you have all that access to there. So those are the kind of the quick stories that have been happening through for gaming on Microsoft's side for this week that a lot of people have been talking about. I did want to mention real quick. They did say, we mentioned Blizzard and the Overwatch 2 beta. They'd actually said the actual date of the beta, and it is in April. They said April 26th will be that. Also, it is for PC at first. So if you are a console player, you will not be able to do the beta on the console. If you have a PC, you'll be able to do the beta there. They said they're going to try and do the PC first, and all the console people, you'll be able to do it later. They'll bring in the console later. So,
boom!
And then there's Caleb
Sucks,
over here
don't
with
it?
this nice smug smile on his face.
Well, it's funny. There's a lot of streamers and a lot of people been like, no, the console players would be just fine. Just hook up an Xbox controller to the PC and have no aim assist, fools. I started laughing.
Good
I'm
luck.
like, PC Master Race. I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But, I mean, let's be real. All in a nutshell, it was a PC game first. Well, it did come out on the others, but obviously in mind, this is what this was. Get it done, get it cleared, do what you got to do, and then
I honestly think the biggest reason is probably just that it's way easier to run a beta on PC when you can just have people sideload apps and everything without a problem. Like,
yeah,
I think that's the real key here.
Yeah, and it makes sense because then what sucks when you're running a beta on someone else's network, you got to make sure it works, and you got to make sure this, and so it's just extra work. Understandable. But you got to realize on the console, there's 3, if I remember correctly, it is on the Switch.
Yeah.
Overwatch is on the Switch. And so
on all of them,
I mean, and so each one's different and each one, so yeah, I mean, cool. But I think the thing to pull away from this is stuff's coming from Blizzard. So this is cool. This is great. We're going to get our hands on it. Fun. So that's pretty much all the gaming news I have for today. We'll go ahead and we'll move over to Caleb. Caleb, do you have any gaming news for us?
I do have one item of gaming news. Listener, this is the sort of thing that I feel like I am morally obligated to share with you because it is just the good shining light in my week and probably everybody's week if I know our audience at all. So we're here to talk again about why Doom modders are just the best people on the internet. Now, we've run Doom on a lot of things over the years.
Yes.
We've had versions of Doom that were ported to graphing calculators, and honestly, that happened shockingly early on in the game's lifetime. Like, we're like over 30 years past. Okay, about 30 years past the original release of Doom. But within a decade, people were running Doom, a port of Doom on their graphing calculators, right? And we've seen that style of computing used to power or to play Doom for just ages, right? Ever since. Now, I am not sure this is the weakest hardware that Doom has ever been run on, but a Doom modder was successful in getting the game running on a Raspberry Pi Pico, which, if you know Raspberry Pi, it's an open source computer, basically, that uses very low-end hardware and is extremely inexpensive, on the order of like $30 for the entire PC. So the Raspberry Pi Pico is the extra cheap version of that concept. It costs $4, this machine.
Uh-huh.
And it is somewhat remarkable that they managed to get Doom running on it, given that the game, like Doom's original installed size, was 4 megabytes, which is hilariously tiny in comparison to anything modern. Like Doom Eternal is 50 gigabytes?
Oh, plus.
I'm not even sure. But what's interesting about that, though, is that the Pico only has 2 megabytes of flash storage. So that's why this is a technical achievement, because in order to get the thing fully running on the hardware, it has to be installed on the hardware, which means there has to be room for the game on the hardware.
Right.
And the Raspberry Pi Pico doesn't have like an SD card slot that you can expand the storage or anything like that. In fact, let's just go over the specifications for the Raspberry Pi Pico. Okay, so it's 21 by 51 millimeters is the dimensions of this thing. It uses a micro USB port for like power and all that stuff. It's the only port on the device, and it is like, that's over half of the width of the thing is a micro USB port. They're tiny, right? So that's how narrow this thing is, and then it's about twice that in terms of length. It uses an RP2040 microchip controller that was designed by Raspberry Pi, which employs the ARM Cortex M0 Plus processor. Actually, core design, 2 of those. So it's actually a dual core processor with a flexible clock speed of up to, so this is their maximum boost speed, 133 megahertz. So that's cool. It's got 264 kilobytes of RAM, and then, like I said, 2 megabytes of onboard flash storage. It does have general purpose IO pins, and 3 analog inputs, which is what this is mostly used for, is like, makers that are tinkering that want to be able to use it as basically just a really cheap and easy way to programmatically monitor the position of a robot's arm or the temperature of something, like that's what it does. Simple, basic tasks that are really easy, not playing video games. That is that is not the supported use case for this device, but hilariously low-end hardware, and the guy got Doom running on it, including stuff like, basically taking Doom binaries and decreasing their installed size by more than half. More than half, because in order to fit it onto 2 megabytes, you can't just install the game and then play it. Like, you have to have the game running on some kind of operating layer between the processor and the controls and stuff like that. So it was less than 2 megabytes. And apparently he had it to the point where all 9 levels of the game were there and playable, though occasionally in the later levels you would just run out of RAM and the game would crash. Because, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
And, but he managed to get that, and he did in fact get save games working. There was only one space for one save game, but he managed to have enough empty space on the storage for this thing to save the game. I am hats off to this man. Seems like overkill, probably unnecessary, but good job. You managed to get Doom running on a $4 computer.
Yeah. Doom modders.
Remarkable people.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I really hope that Carmack is getting flagged on all these. Just like, hey, check this out. Like, how awesome would that be? You know what I mean?
I'm sure he is.
Just the stuff they do. Crazy. Love it. Anyway. Well, I guess that's everything, unless Landon has one more thing. Oh, this is the second in a row.
Yeah,
Man.
2 weeks in a row. I do have gaming news. And extra bonus, this is not mobile gaming news.
What?
I know. This is something.
I don't believe it.
This is something that you would use a computer for, even. Now, I can't go as far as to say this is PC Master Race type quality by any means. But
is it Flappy Bird?
Flappy Bird is back. No, it's mobile. Come on.
Oh, no. Like in the browser. I don't know.
I bet you could find it. Anyways, no, not that. So Google, this past week, announced something that I think had been rumored for a while now, but it's actually been announced. There's no date on this. They're just saying it's coming soon. But Steam for Chrome OS is coming. An alpha version is coming soon. So again, this is very early in development, but they have at least got it far enough along that people that want a really buggy way to play a game can on Chrome OS when the alpha version comes out. Now, this does have some minimum requirements for your Chrome OS device. It needs to have at least an 11th gen Intel Core i5 or i7 processor and 8 gigs of RAM. So, I mean, you're not looking at the highest end Chromebooks, even with these specs. I mean, at that specs, you're looking around $500 plus. But, I mean, that's not horrible. And to be able to play Steam games on Chrome OS, that's kind of cool. So they're getting to the point where you could legitimately buy a Chromebook or a Chrome box device of some sort and play games. I mean, they already have Stadia. which, I mean, there's games on there, but I mean, Steam though, that's the big one. That's
Yeah.
freaking cool. So
that's the holy grail of you can play games on this device is if Steam is supported.
Yeah.
It's true.
So, like I said, they haven't put a date yet, but they've got it far enough along that they're willing to talk about it. And they did say an alpha version is coming soon. So, if you are interested, you can look up to see how to qualify to get this to work on your device if you have one. So, just so you know, if you are in that very niche audience that really wants to play Steam games on your Chromebook and you have one that's eligible, there you go. It's coming.
That is cool.
Wow.
Nice. That is nice. I mean, how much would that be? Just curious, like for an 11th gen Intel on a Chromebook.
I mean, they've got decent Chromebooks now for around the $500 mark and hardware wise. I mean, obviously it goes up from there. You can get a really nice Samsung or Google Chromebook for around $1,000, but I want to say you can get like an HP or something like that with an i5 or i7 for around $500, $600.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, just figured I'd give a price preference, on that. So that's cool. I mean, it's like you said, if you can get Steam on something, whew, you're winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's worth noting that Chrome OS is going to benefit from all of the work that's being done on Steam OS. They're both ports of Linux, and I would assume that the Proton compatibility layer is probably going to be able to be ported to Chrome OS. So, but you theoretically, with some tweaking probably by the community, you should be able to play pretty much anything that will be playable on a Steam Deck on a Chromebook with this update. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. That's good news.
So I just wanted to update
one more
a little bit. I looked on, this is on Best Buy. They have a Samsung Chromebook. It's a 13.3 inch 4K Ultra HD touchscreen Chromebook. So, decent.
What the? A 4K 13-inch display?
This is Samsung.
Samsung?
You got to remember.
What are you doing?
And it's got an Intel Core i5 processor and 8 gigs of memory and a 256 gig SSD. That's not bad for $599 right now on Best Buy's website. So
there you go. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
So that is about the price range then.
Bring your Steam library right over. That's nice. You know what would suck for all competitors in cloud gaming if Steam decided to, buy Google Stadia stuff?
Oh man.
Well, considering Steam just acts as a distribution platform, they would have to go through all of the same rigmarole that Nvidia has been having to go through with the publishers trying to actually get games onto their service and that sort of thing. Yeah. So I don't think it would end the competition overnight.
No, I wouldn't end, but then all of a sudden if someone was like, I don't know if I want to put it on Stadia, and then it's like, oh, Steam is there.
Well, yeah, that's
you know what I mean? Like Microsoft would just be like, don't.
Steam has the mind share.
Yeah. Although that, I mean, you can't knock the technology of it, so on Stadia. So
yeah, negative latency. It's impressive.
Yeah. Anywho, I think that's the end of the episode for today. Dear listener, thank you so much for listening all the way to the end. If you do want to get a hold of us, you can at our social media platforms. You can also get a hold of us on callingallplatforms.com. If you want to see any videos on YouTube and want to check those out, or you can go to Calling All Platforms Tech or Calling All Platforms Games that are on there. Go ahead, subscribe, ring the bell, and all the other things that those fancy people say if you want to be notified. How'd I do? Was that pretty good?
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Yeah,
very good.
All right, dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.